Hi everyone, my name is Estella. This story is about my mother-in-law, who seemed determined to make my life difficult. From the start, my mother-in-law, Lisa, never liked me. She's a bit old-fashioned but often takes it too far. My husband, Rhett, and I lived far away from them for years, so Lisa couldn't do much to bother me. But when Rhett got a better job near them, we moved closer, and I found myself dealing with her again. I wouldn't have minded handling Lisa because I grew up with toxic and controlling parents, so I knew how to deal with people like that. Plus, my father-in-law, Vince, was always supportive of me. The real problem started when Lisa had access to my 8-year-old daughter, Julie. Julie is a sweet child who loves being around her family. Since we were already not talking to my parents, Vince and Lisa were the only grandparents she had. I tried to put my issues with Lisa aside so Julie could have a good relationship with them. Rhett also thought his family was important, so cutting Lisa off wasn't an option. Vince and Lisa were loving towards Julie, but Lisa had one big issue. She would always say, "I don't like how you feed Julie, Estella. She's not eating everything she should. She needs more nuts for protein. You're taking away good food from her meals." I would reply, "That's because she's allergic to nuts, Lisa. I've told you before that even the smell of nuts can cause a serious reaction." But Lisa wouldn't listen. She'd say, "That's nonsense, Estella. If you keep babying Julie like this, she'll never outgrow her allergies. You need to expose her to those foods so she can overcome her allergies. What you're doing is wrong. You're depriving her of nutrients and being a bad mother. But I expected that from you." I would explain, "Lisa, we've consulted a pediatrician, and we feed Julie balanced meals. People can live without eating nuts, but Julie will have a severe health issue if she eats them." But Lisa never accepted what I said or what the doctor advised. She was convinced that exposing Julie to nuts was the only way to get rid of the allergies. I was tired of explaining that Julie simply couldn't have food she was allergic to. Lisa would just call me a bad mother and try to convince Julie to eat the foods she was allergic to. Thankfully, Julie knew what could happen if she ate those foods, so she always refused. I decided to talk to Rhett because I was getting more and more worried about Lisa. I told him, "Rhett, I'm having trouble leaving Julie alone with Lisa. She's ignoring my warnings and trying to feed Julie what she wants. I'm afraid she'll sneak some allergens into her food for exposure therapy." Rhett responded, "Don't be ridiculous, Estella. My mom might be old-fashioned, but she knows what she shouldn't do. Besides, Dad is always there to stop her from experimenting. Julie loves spending time with her grandparents. We can't just tell her to stop seeing them." But I insisted, "Lisa isn't changing her attitude about allergies, and I'm really worried about Julie's safety. We need to do something because I'm sick with worry every time Julie is with them without me." Rhett tried to reassure me, saying, "Relax, Estella. There's no need to cut off my parents over something so small. Julie needs the love of her grandparents, and she's happy with them. Since you're so worried, I'll talk to my mom. I'm sure she'll listen to me." Rhett's words were true in one way. Julie really did love her grandparents. I couldn't bear to tell her to stop seeing them. If Julie had ever told me she didn't want to see them, I would have listened. I would have stopped it right away if I had known that no one could control Lisa. Even Rhett couldn't get Lisa to change her ways, and her stubbornness led to terrible consequences for Julie. It all happened at Julie's 10th birthday party. Of course, Vince and Lisa were invited, and they promised to come. Lisa seemed unusually excited about the party, which made me feel uneasy, though I didn't know why. Deep down, I knew something was going to go wrong. Vince and Lisa were among the first guests to arrive, which surprised me since Lisa usually didn't want to spend much time around me. Lisa was carrying a big square box wrapped in birthday-themed paper. She handed it to Julie and said, "Happy birthday, dear Julie. Here's your gift. Grandma has got you the best gift ever." "Thank you so much, Grandma. The gift is so big." "What's in it?" Julie asked excitedly. "I don't know, Julie," Vince replied. "Grandma picked the gift herself and wouldn't even tell me what it is. We'll both find out when you open it. Here, Julie, open Grandma's gift and see what she got you. I'm sure you'll love it. It'll be your absolute favorite." Lisa encouraged. "Really, Grandma? I can't wait to see what you gave me. I'm so excited," Julie said with enthusiasm. "We can open all the gifts after cutting the cake, Julie. Let all your friends come first, And then you can start opening presents, I suggested. No, 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 no. You need to let Julie open my gift before she cuts the cake. That's the whole reason I came early, to give her my gift. Lisa insisted. I started getting suspicious because Lisa was acting strange, but Julie looked so happy to get a nice gift from her grandma. The gift was big and heavy, so she was really eager to open it. Since Julie was so excited, I let her start opening her gifts when all her friends arrived. Lisa had told Julie the gift needed to be opened before the cake, and Julie was really determined to do it that way. I didn't want to make her sad on her birthday, so I agreed. But I had no idea how disastrous it would be. On her birthday, Julie and I were betrayed by the one person we were supposed to trust. Lisa not only ruined Julie's birthday but also turned everyone against her. As soon as Julie opened her gift, she found a big cake inside the box with her name on it. Her happiness lasted only a minute before she suddenly passed out. Rhett and I rushed to our daughter, terrified and confused about what had happened. Then I noticed her throat swelling up and I was in shock. Rhett ran to get the EpiPen while someone else called the police. I knew who was responsible, so I turned to Lisa and demanded, "Lisa, what did you give Julie? What's in that cake?" "Nothing, Estella. It's just a normal cake. I don't understand what happened. You must have done something to make Julie faint. I warned you this would happen because you haven't been giving her proper nutrition." Lisa responded, trying to shift the blame onto me. "Don't try to blame me, Lisa. She was happy and fine just a moment ago, and now she looks like she's having an allergic reaction. Tell me what you did," I shouted, panic rising in my voice. "Lisa, you better not have put something in that cake. I knew I should have kept an eye on you when you promised to get her the best gift ever. Look at Julie, she's turning blue," I yelled, fear gripping my heart. I ignored Lisa and focused on Julie. Rhett came running with the EpiPen, and I quickly used it on our daughter. While the swelling in her throat went down a bit, she was still unconscious. We knew that taking her to the hospital was the only way to save her completely. Everyone in the room was extremely worried about Julie. I had tears in my eyes, and Rhett looked like he was about to cry too. Lisa was already crying and looked a little scared. At that moment, I decided to cut open the cake to find out what was inside. What I found shocked me to my core. Why on earth did you give my daughter a cake filled with nuts? Are you insane, Lisa? I've told you countless times that she's allergic to nuts. What's wrong with you? You ignored my warnings and put nuts in the cake anyway. How could you be so stupid? Lisa tried to defend herself, saying I was only trying to help Julie. I didn't mean to hurt her. I hated that Estella was keeping her from eating so much good food. Yes, she might have a bad reaction sometimes, but exposure to nuts would have solved the problem. Rhett was furious and shouted, "Mom, are you freaking insane? My daughter is allergic to nuts. She could have died from this reaction. Who gave you the right to decide how to handle her allergies? Look at what you've done." Lisa, still in denial, said, "I'm her grandmother, Rhett. I have the right to look after my baby. I'm telling you, she'll be fine after a while. You all are overreacting just to scare me and punish me for nothing. I bet this is all Estella's plan to make me look bad." I was livid and warned Lisa, "If I had my way with you today, you'd pay dearly for what you've done. But right now, making sure my daughter is okay is more important." As I finished speaking, the ambulance arrived with the paramedics. They took care of Julie and rushed her to the hospital with us. The doctors there said that Julie would need time to wake up and would have to stay in the hospital for a day or two. I completely broke down in the hospital, crying in Rhett's arms. He held me tight, and we comforted each other. After I pulled myself together, Rhett called Vince to let everyone know that Julie was no longer in danger. When Rhett hung up the call, I looked at him and said, "Rhett, I will never forgive Lisa for what happened today. Do you realize she could have killed our daughter?" Rhett replied, "I've been thinking about it, Estella. Trust me, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. My mother has turned so cruel that I don't even recognize her anymore. Lisa did this just to prove that you're a bad mother. She pretended she wanted Julie to be happy, but she didn't even stop to think that she was putting her in danger. Even after everything, she kept saying that you staged the whole thing. Estella, today I realized how far my mother can go to make you look bad. I can't tell you how sorry I am. I should have limited her presence in our lives a lot sooner. I failed to protect Julie from my mother. I feel like a bad husband and an even worse father, Rhett said, starting to understand the seriousness of the situation. While Vince had been a good grandfather, Lisa had crossed all boundaries that day. She had gotten away with all her previous stunts, but this time we weren't going to let her off easily. My husband and I had a serious discussion about the situation and made a decision right then and there, while Julie was still in the hospital. When we decided to go back home, Vince, Lisa, and a few guests had stayed behind to get updates on Julie's condition. It was the perfect time to confront Lisa. By the time we returned home, it had been 2 hours since the incident. We found Lisa and Vince sitting in the living room. Vince was still scolding Lisa while she ignored him and typed away on her phone. Beside them lay the real birthday cake that Julie didn't even get a chance to cut. The sight brought tears to my eyes again, but I held them back. As soon as they saw us, Vince and Lisa rushed over to us. I said, "Julie is in good hands now, and she will recover soon. She's still unconscious, but the doctors are positive she'll wake up soon." Vince sighed in relief. Thank God Julie is all right. I was going insane with worry about her condition. But Lisa, still in her delusion, said, "See, there was nothing to worry about. It wasn't even a big deal. Julie will be fine, and her immunity against nuts will improve in no time. Her allergies will be gone. I told you I know what's best." At that moment, Rhett couldn't hold back anymore. He started to yell at Lisa, tearing into her for everything she had done. Vince also joined in, giving Lisa a piece of his mind. The guests were shocked, looking at Lisa with disgust. I was burning with anger too. I said, "Enough is enough, Lisa. We've given you multiple chances to prove yourself, but even after sending my daughter to the hospital, you have no remorse for your actions. This is the last straw. We will never allow you near our or Julie's life again. You are banned from this house too." Lisa snapped back, "You have no right to tell me where I can or cannot go. My son won't allow you to cut me off over nothing. I know this is all you ever wanted, but I won't let you take away my granddaughter just because I don't agree with your parenting. Rhett knows I'm right, and he will support me." But Rhett firmly said, "Absolutely not, Mom. You will never come near me or my family again. Dad is welcome here anytime since he's the only sane grandparent Julie has. He even tried his best to stop you from hurting Julie, but today you sent Julie to the hospital, and you're still claiming you did the right thing. I don't want someone so cruel around my daughter." Lisa couldn't believe her own son was turning against her. She had always trusted Rhett to defend her, but what she didn't realize was that Rhett was a reasonable man, not deluded like her. Even the guests started to berate her, making Lisa realize she had nowhere to turn. Vince wasn't on her side either. She started screaming, "Estella, this is your fault. You set me up to humiliate me, and now you've turned everyone against me. I won't forgive you for this. You should be the one begging for forgiveness. You've ruined your own name and taken yourself away from Julie. You'll never see her again." I calmly replied, "Good luck trying to get grandparents' rights when you're rotting in jail. I bet the judge would find it amusing for a felon to ask for visitation rights after endangering her own granddaughter." Lisa's eyes widened in panic. "What do you mean, Estella? Why would I go to jail? I haven't done anything wrong." "What you did is a crime, Lisa. Exposing a child to allergens knowingly is considered a form of poisoning. I bet you didn't know that, but Rhett and I do, and we've called the police on you. You hear those sirens? They're coming to arrest you." No, you're lying. This can't be happening. You can't get me arrested for this." Lisa was in tears, begging us to drop the charges, but when 2 officers walked in and told her she was under arrest, she started holding onto our hands, pleading not to be sent to jail. Rhett didn't even look at her and told the cops to drag her away. I just gave her a cold stare and told her that her game was up. Lisa then turned to Vince, begging him, "Vince, do something, please. You can't let your wife get arrested like this." But Vince shook his head and said, "When my wife does something truly horrifying and shows no remorse, I will not protect her. Lisa, I've warned you for years to change your ways, but you never listened. Today you put our only granddaughter in danger." Lisa cried, "I was only doing this for her own good. I never knew it would hurt her so badly. Please, Vince, I'm your wife. You need to help me. Rhett has already kicked me out of his life." Vince replied firmly, "Rhett did the right thing, Lisa. In fact, it's what I'm going to do too." Tomorrow, I'm talking to a divorce lawyer. I'm done with you. There's no way I'm staying with a psycho like you anymore. This time, I'm protecting my granddaughter and my kids from your presence. No, 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 Vince, you can't do this to me. I'm your wife. Lisa cried out, but Vince told the cops to take her away. Lisa was crying the entire time, begging for help. The party had ended a long time ago, but now I felt a little bit at peace. Rhett, Vince, and I all returned to the hospital after the guests left. The guests were also angry with Lisa and said they would tell everyone what a horrible person she was. The next day, our little Julie woke up and was doing much better, but she seemed extremely scared of Lisa. She kept crying and begged us to keep Lisa away from her. Mom, Dad, I don't want to be near Grandma again. She always tries to make me eat things that I know will give me allergies. Grandpa stopped her every time, but I don't want to be with Grandma again. Julie, I promise you, Grandma will never hurt you again. She won't be in our lives anymore. You love Grandpa, right? He'll be around, but Grandma won't be near you anymore. It's a promise. Julie was traumatized by what had happened, so we signed her up with a child therapist to help her sort through her emotions. Rhett and I also started couples therapy to improve our communication. We're doing much better as a family now, and it really helps to have a supportive man like Vince around us. Meanwhile, Lisa's life quickly went downhill. When her own family found out about her actions, they scolded her and cut her off. Even her friends were disgusted and didn't want anything to do with her. Lisa was left crying and begging everyone for bail money, but no one helped. Vince filed for divorce the next day, and Lisa was served the papers while she was still in jail. She lost her mind when she received the papers, screaming in her holding cell. Months passed and Vince was able to get an easy divorce from Lisa, thanks to the police report. We live in an at-fault state, so that helped. As for Lisa, she was sent to jail. The judge ordered her to pay us money for medical bills, but since she didn't have any, she got a long sentence. We filed restraining orders against her, so she's legally required to stay away from our family. We're positive she won't be able to come near us again, but if she tries, she'll have to deal with Mama and Papa Bear, who will do anything